Hey guys, this is Andrew Holmes from Chicago RIA. And just in a moment, you're going to listen to and watch an interview I did with Gary Davidson. But before we do that, before we show you that, I wanted to have a little bit of a disclaimer on something that I wanted to put out there. That the questions that you should be thinking about, there are two types of people. One person says, oh my God, there's a new rule. I don't even know what it is, but you know, it's bad. Or there's a logical thinking person that says, hey, listen, there may be a new set of guidelines, new set of rules that I may need to be abreast of, think about, and operate my business that way. I tend to be the latter, which is that, number one, I have a real estate license. Number two, we try to do things as ethically as humanly possible, which is follow any sort of rules or guidelines. If I'm a real estate agent, I have to disclose if I'm buying a property from anybody that I have a license in the state of Illinois, and to make sure that I'm buying the property for my own interest and not representing anybody. See, the rule, from what my understanding so far is, it was written as a consumer protection rule. What does that mean? That simply means that the public needs to be protected, and that misrepresentation, maybe intentionally or in most cases unintentionally, is not being done. There are a lot of questions, and rightfully so, you should be asking them if you run a proper business. Now, if you're somebody that just wants to skirt around all the rules, good luck to you. But we don't. And we know people who run businesses don't. So there are, today, the interview you're going to hear is Gary Davidson's opinion. Now, mind you, that is his interpretation of the law. Is that interpretation going to be 100% correct? Probably not. Will it probably get modified, changed as a set of guidelines comes out from the board of from the realtors' legal help? I reached out to them and I asked them, hey guys, what does this mean? Are there any new forms that need to be done if you have a real estate license? What are exactly the guidelines that are being put out? And they're like, Andrew, it's just so new still. We don't know. We are working on that, but this is more based on a consumer protection, and this is not to stop business. It is to do business correctly and within the guidelines. So please, before you start jumping to any conclusions and go, oh my God, the world is coming to an end, it is not. Just please be logical, think through it, and very shortly you will see more updates coming as we clarify this particular situation. This is Andrew. Hope you enjoyed the video. So what exactly is this new wholesale law? Everybody's been calling, everybody's been texting me, even from Mastery to other attorneys to people that quote unquote are wholesalers, right? And I had no idea with that email has limits. It seems like you've been kind of in the hiding last 2 days, right? Because you didn't want to take any more phone calls, any more emails about this subject. So, and everybody's been asking me, and I'm like, man, let's just kind of, let's not try to be lawyerly. Let's get a lawyer in here, right? So we have Gary Davidson, the #1 real estate attorney for investors in Chicago. So Gary, what exactly is this?
Well, Andrew, I've been spending the last 3 days reading the new legislation on this.
So this is the legislation?
This is the legislation. This is the bill that passed. And I hate to...
How many pages is this?
I think it's about 163 pages.
Okay, 163 pages. So everybody wants to know, man, they're like, you know, Andrew, they passed a new law. They passed a new law. I'm like, really? Have you read it? Well, no, but they passed a new law. Somebody told me, right? And nobody had a clue. So I'm like, you got to take a look at exactly what it is. So what is it?
So here's the dirty secret.
Right.
There is no new wholesale law.
Hold on. You know you're going to get crucified for this, right? People are going to say, well, what do you mean? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So explain what exactly are you talking about, that there is no new wholesale law, because this is what everybody thinks.
So if you actually do a search in this 163-page document, the word wholesale doesn't exist.
Right. Okay. So explain exactly what happened.
Okay. So what they did was they wanted to redefine the term broker. So this is amending the Illinois Real Estate License Act.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
So anybody that wants to engage in that activity now has to have a license.
Okay.
Just like practicing law, selling mangoes at the port, you have to have a license to do these things, and it's so that it's regulated.
Okay, got it. So basically, I want to kind of distinguish that because people will get confused, right? People will get confused and they'll draw their own interpretation. And just understand, guys, what used to happen in the past, this is the past, and hear me very carefully. The deal was you're buying a property, so you're buying a property, this is the seller, you're Mr. Wholesaler, and this is your buyer. I understand these are cops, but just follow my train of thought here. The two of you sign a contract. This is a contract between the two parties, right? You could take this contract, sell it to the end buyer, and you, the person in the middle, could make money. Now, let me ask you this, because this is, let's just say I don't have a real estate license. Let's just say for a second. And I do one of these. And then I'm peaceful. I move to Florida. I do one of them. Is that illegal?
It's not illegal.
Okay. So let's say I'm Mr. Wannabe Wholesaler. I do 4 of these after the passing of the new Brokerage Act, right? The amendment, we should say. Is that illegal?
It is. It's illegal for you to do more than one.
Okay.
So once you hit 2, you're doing something illegal.
Okay. Explain the legality versus the illegality, right? That it's not, they're not saying that, listen, it's illegal. They're saying it has to be done a certain way and you have to be licensed and or hire somebody that is licensed.
Simply to regulate the industry,
Got
to
it.
make sure that people are giving the proper disclosures, that all the things are done properly. Just like as a lawyer, if you're going to go into a real estate closing for someone, you have to be a lawyer. You can't be a paralegal, you can't be an individual, just to make sure the documents are prepared properly to protect the consumer.
Got it. So basically what you're saying is this. Let's just say I'm buying a property myself, right? I can fully go and buy a property, right? Do I have to have a lawyer for my own house? No. But if I'm basically doing that as a practice where now suddenly I have other people involved, like, hey, let me just help you out, right? I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you what you would call legal opinion, right? After 2, 3, 4, this is not a legal opinion. This is the practice of law, right? The bar would not like that at all whatsoever, period.
Absolutely.
Right?
And if we look at this, Andrew, you know, we can see Facebook, we can see the comments on there. You know, there's no loophole.
Right.
There's no cute, I'm going to buy it in this company, and then I'm going to buy this as an individual, and my partner's going to buy it here. If your intent is to do this as a business, you're violating the act, and it's subject to a $25,000 fine.
So let's just go back, because it's you said a lot there, right? So let's just take it one thing at a time. To do one, that's not a business, right? It's like I think this will be a good example for people to think about this. Let's just say if you decide to sell your car, you can sell your car, right? You can sell your car, you make money, you lose money, state doesn't care. You do 5 of those, suddenly, guess what? The state is going to say, hey, listen, this is not you selling your car, this is a business. You're buying a car from somebody, you're selling a car. This is not your individual sale, this is a business, and that is a regulated industry. It's no different here. It's the same exact thing. And people, a lot of times people will be like, well, Andrew, this is America. You know, in America, you can still buy and sell. Nobody's stopping you from buying and selling, right? So stop this nonsense, because somebody is going to go nuts. Well, you know, this is the People's Republic of whatever. That's not what this is, guys. No, because somebody is going to come up with some stupid stuff, right? That's not what this is. Understand what they have said is this. The real estate industry, which I'm a part of, right? I have a real estate license. They have a big lobby, rightfully so. They want to do things by the book. They want to protect the public. And obviously we look a little bit out for our self-interest. You know, you guys are the best at it, the lawyers are, right? But what they're saying is, hey, listen, there's a lot of people doing things and we want it regulated and we want the public to be protected, and we don't want people that are unlicensed to practice without a license.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is what this is, simply. So if somebody's going to run a business which the state considers 2 or more, then you need to either have a real estate license or you hire a person that is licensed to do business in Illinois, and that's that simple, with a real estate license.
There's two choices, and it's business as usual.
Okay, got it. So there's nothing for people to go, oh my God, to be oh my God about. You have to make a decision whether you're going to basically work with an agent that is licensed, do it properly, like as we would do it. If I buy a property, I have to disclose that I have a real estate license in the state of Illinois. I have to have all the disclosures filled out. Regardless, for us, it doesn't make any difference, right? But for people, but you know who it will affect? It's the people who's like, I got a deal, right? They don't do anything. They have no idea what they're doing. This will actually make people a lot more professional. What's your take on it?
It's going to help consolidate the industry. It's going to weed out those who are the tire kickers. And it's going to elevate the public perception of the entire real estate industry.
Makes sense. So you said something, another word you used, which is a word that people will miss. And you said the intent, right? In law, intent matters.
Right.
Intent matters a lot. And intent is something, think about this way. You're driving down the street and you have an accident. What is an accident? Something freakish that happens. As long as your intent wasn't, oh my God, Gary charged me too much, so I'm going to run him over with the car, right? Not that I'm saying you do that, but it's an accident.
Right.
As long as it's an accident, you're not intentionally doing something.
Correct.
Now, if you intentionally are mad at somebody, you hit them with your car, guess what? Your intent is what this whole thing is about. Right?
Absolutely.
So explain that in real estate. Like it's no different than people be like, well, Andrew, the property is a HUD deal, and I'm just wink, wink, nod, nod, gonna go ahead and buy it, right? What is the problem with that? Because that's really about intent, right? Their intention is this should be bought by a homeowner who's going to live in the property, right? That's why a HUD home comes out for the first 30 days, whatever it is, right? And an investor says, well, I'm going to be smart about it, right? It's based on what?
Look, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
it is a duck.
It is a duck.
Okay, got it. Perfect. Because a lot of times, so what you're telling me is, because you're going to get the calls and I'm going to get the calls, right? But man, what is a way around it, right? Is there number one, I would question the ethics of the person who would try to find a way around it. Why? Don't you want to be more professional? Right? Don't you want to be more ethical about what you do? Don't you want to play the game above the board?
Right. There's only one way to do things, Andrew.
And do it the right way.
And it's doing it the right way. And I know that that's how you feel, and that's how I feel. So it literally is, you are a broker or you hire a broker so that you're in full compliance. Then, I know there's a lot of misinformation going out there. Well, assignments are now illegal. We're going to double close everything. Look, nothing's changed except if your intention is to engage in the business of buying and selling properties immediately, then you must be a licensed broker.
That's it.
Period.
That's the end of it. It doesn't matter if you're doing assignments. It doesn't matter if you're doing double closes. There's nothing wrong with it. What they're saying is, hey, listen, we have a set of rules. We have a set of guidelines. We have licensed personnel that should be handling that transaction. That's the end of it, period. Correct?
And not only that, but that comes with a penalty of $25,000
if you
per
don't
appearance.
do it right.
If you don't do it right.
Okay.
You're sending out 500 letters a day, that's 500 times 25,000.
Got it. So, and that is important because somebody is going to try to find a way around it, right? And they've defined it. If anything, it makes things easier as far as I'm concerned. Right?
It's given us a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's simple. So it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent, if you're an attorney, if you're a wannabe investor. Nothing has changed, right? A lot of times people always try to look at doom and gloom or try to create this fear mongering, and that's why I did not want to make this big thing about it. That let's understand what it is, and then let's try to do things right, and that's the end of it. And if you are a licensed broker, if you're running a real estate business, you're doing it by the book. Just go on, right? There's nothing to worry about. But if you're not, And if you've been doing wholesales, quote unquote, and you don't have a license, then just comply. And that's the end of story. Anything else you want to add?
That's really as simple as that.
Because a lot of people are not going to be satisfied with these answers, right?
It is what it is.
They're going to want. Well, is there a special contract? Is there something I can do? The simple answer is no.
There's no magic wand underneath this desk.
Right, exactly. No, because the thing is, and it's pretty comprehensive, right? It talks about getting a property under contract. It talks about renting. It covers a whole, pretty much the plethora of what we know.
Marketing
right?
for sale.
Marketing for sale. Yeah.
If you're out there, bandit signs, all your letters, all of that stuff, now it has to be a licensed activity. You no longer can have apprentices.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That is a good one, right? Apprentice needed to make 10 to 15,000 bucks, right? This was the other one.
Make 15,000 a week.
Right, 15,000 a week. No, I'm glad because, we were kind of joking about it because I didn't even realize when you walked in with this whole mess because I was like, man, what is this law? I can't find it. I clearly do not know what it is. I got excerpts of it from people, but I'm like, no, we need to read the whole damn thing as to what it is. And it has nothing to do with wholesaling. It's simply, in your words, is redefining what is the practice of real estate.
Or clarifying.
Maybe clarifying.
Yeah, it's clarifying that the acting as a broker includes all of those activities.
Got it, perfect. So for people who are confused, who want to do real estate, and you want to do real estate investing right, show up at one of the Chicago RIA meetings. Go call Gary, call Castle Law, so that you do it right. And if you do it right, there is nothing to worry about. It's business as usual. Anything you want to add?
I think we're good. I'm going to make one last review of this document here. I should be done by 2 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, right. No, all kidding aside, guys. Hopefully that clarifies it, and that makes sense, right? Because this whole nonsense, whenever people say, well, there is something, let's not come and jump to conclusions. Let's figure out what exactly it is and do it by the book. Thanks a bunch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.